Good day to my fellow classmate and good day to Ma'am Belen. I am Bernadette Villagracia, calling from BS Psychology 1A. And for today's report, I will continue the topic of audience of profession. So, let's start. So, for better understanding, I will give briefing about the audience of professional. So, if we are talking about the audience of professional, the professional writing comes into the conversation. So, you may be asked, what is professional writing, right? Professional writing is targets a specific audience, sometimes one reader or multiple readers. So, professional writing is all about targeting your specific audience. Sometimes it is just one reader or it can be multiple reader. Basta ito ay tiyak. So, professional writing is a style of writing that is clear, that is easy to understand, to perceive, to interpret, and it is concise. So, also seek to convey information and ideas quickly in professional setting because, as it states in my visual aids, it should be considered kung ano yung level ng knowledge ng nagbabasa or ng audience mo para mas makuha ng madali yung mga information na kailangan nilang malaman agad. So, let's proceed. So, professional writing for a specific discourse community of professionals such as lawyer, engineers, or architects. The writer may use technical terms that are familiar to the readers, without having to explain what this means. So, in here naman, yung may mga profession katulad ng lawyer, engineers, architects, or doctors, kapag nagsusulat or in communicating, they are using word or phrase that are familiar na hindi na kailangan i-explain kung baga, kapag ito ay narinig mo na o nabasa mo na, malalaman mo na agad ito. So, we have example here, the clinical features of Takotsubo stress cardiomyopathy. So, ano nga ba ito? So, this is a disease by transient systolic and diastolic left ventricular dysfunction with a variety of full motion abnormalities. It is predominantly affect elderly women and it's often preceded by an emotional or physical trigger. So, if sinabi ito sa'yo, syempre you are wondering, madaming question yung maiisip mo such as, what is it? May ganun bang sakit? Anong klaseng sakit ba yun, right? So, instead of using these unfamiliar words like clinical features of Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, pinalitan ito nila into the broken heart syndrome phenomenon. So, bakit ba pinalitan nila? Because the writer should aim for diction or pick choices that will be understood by everyone. Second, when technical terms to be used, this should be clearly explained. So by this, we will not wondering anymore what kind of illness you are diagnosed kasi pag sinabi agad yan sa'yo, maiisip mo agad at maiintindihan mo kung anong klase yan kasi nga familiar ka na sa words na ginagamit nila. So the next slide is the style of professional writings. Professional writings is necessarily written in a particular style or register that aims to build goodwill. So, the main objective of this style is connecting audience in building goodwill. According to Kitty and Donna Kinzer 2003, style of writing which looks at the things from the reader's point of view, emphasizing what the readers wants to know, respecting the reader's intelligence, and protecting the reader's ego. So, this means that the style of writing that we should use as a professional looks like from the reader's point of view, which is from their perspective. Second, we should emphasize kung ano yung gustong malaman ng audience or readers natin. And third is, we should respect their intelligence. Hindi porke may sinabi kang hindi niya naiintindihan or pwedeng Kaya pwede mo na siyang laitin dahil lang sa hindi niya ito maintindihan. And lastly is protecting the reader's ego. So I have table list here, the I attitude and the you attitude. So as you can see, the example here demonstrate that the difference about the I attitude and the you attitude. So first example is I attitude. So if the I attitude is if I can answer any of your queries, I am perfectly willing to do so. So the you attitude is if you have any question, please ask. The second I attitude example is we delivered the order to provide address this morning. And the you attitude of that is your order was shipped to your address this morning. And third I attitude is I'm happy to tell you that. And the you attitude of that is you'll be happy to hear that. So okay, so why we need to change or use the you attitude? So according to Kitty Locker and Business Administrative Communication, the you attitude is designed to make the reader feel like we're looking at the situation from their perspective. So we can make the reader feel respectful and be sensitive to their feelings so that their ego doesn't get hurt. So the next here are the important reminder about the professional writing. So first is the focus is once the reader's benefits, what they can perceive or do, and what they need or what to know. Only in negative situations should the world you avoided. So the information we need to say should be complete and easy to understand. And if it's in negative situation, we need to be careful in choosing words. Second is reader focus extend to the amount and organization of information. The writer should give the reader exactly the information that what is asked and given is provided, and its importance should be clarified. So in here naman, if the information is important, you need to explain it well and clarify it to your reader so that we or you can avoid misinterpretation. The fourth is emphasize on the positive in order to build the positive image and goodwill. Second is, if it's not important, negative information may be omitted. The third is, if it's need to be said, it should be communicated briefly. So we need to emphasize some positive information so that we can build a good relationship. If hindi naman importante yung negative information na hawak mo, we can leave it out and kung kailangan naman itong sabihin, we should explain it briefly to them. The next slide naman, we have here second table list, the negative wording and the positive wording. So the negative wording is we cannot process. The negative wording example is first example is we cannot process your reimbursement request because your documents are not complete. So the positive wording of that is your reimbursement request will be processed as soon as you submit all the required documents. The second negative wording is we do not really reply to emails on weekends. And the positive wording of that is you may contact us via email and anytime from Monday to Friday. The third negative wording is we can't give you the list of books because we have not yet finished taking inventory. And the positive wording of that is you will receive the completed book inventory by tomorrow morning. So as you can see in our table here, we clearly see the difference of these two wording. So why we need to use positive wording than the negative wording? So as I said recently, the writer should give the reader exactly the information that he or she has requested or needs. So when more information than what is asked is provided, its importance should be clarified. So like in our first example, so our first example is we cannot process your reimbursement request because your documents are not complete. So the positive wording of that is your reimbursement request will be processed as soon as you submit all the requirements documents. Not only is the focus shifted from the writers to the readers need your request, but it is emphasized also why the request is being denied to the reader and will gain if he and the reader will gain if he or complete the requirements. So the next slide is the use of bias-free language. So according to Arento 2009, there may be language bias against the poor. So it means that there are contains words or phrases that are offensive, prejudiced, and hurtful words against poor people that make certain people or groups feel misunderstood, cast out, or mispresented. So, para maiwasan ang ganyang situation, according again to Locker and Kisler 2013, we need to use bias-free language that does not discriminate against people on the basis of sex, physical condition, race, age, or any other category. So, the last slide is we have table here that show the bias and the bias-free words. So the bias word set one is chairman, salesman, stewardess, fireman, woman lawyer, woman doctor, lady president, and male nurse. So the bias-free language of that is chairperson or chair, sales representative or staff, flight attendant, firefighter, and lawyer, doctor, president, and nurse. So, as you can see in the table, we use the bias-free para mas hindi siya magkakaroon ng conflict kapag binabasa or kapag sinasabi mo sa ibang tao. So, okay, that's all. Thank you for listening about my report. I hope you have learned about this report. Again, I am Bernadette calling from BSP Psychology 1A.